Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to another episode of Big Blue Rain of Fire with yours truly. Oh my goodness, it's finally good to be on the win column. It's finally good to be on the win column. Oh, and before I start, I would just wanted to shout out today's sponsors. So today's sponsors are brought to you by Fantasy Football Advice and Better Vision. So please give them just a quick check, just a quick look around because they are good people, especially within the especially within the sports affiliation. So they're good people. Please check them out. And then when you check them out, it helps us out too. So thank you guys so much. Y'all know why I'm here. Y'all know why I'm here. I just need no introduction, right? 14-7 Giants Commanders, right? This game how can I describe this game? This game, I feel like it was pretty rough. It was pretty rough. I mean, sure, my team could have put up more points than what it needed to, but we did what we had to do. So we did what we had to do. Well, first and foremost, kudos and good game to the Commanders. Their defense was tough. Their defense was tough. I will admit that Chase Young was giving us fits with his 2 sacks and 4 pressures this game. So Chase Young is back, and hopefully he can stick around with the Commanders for a little bit longer because I know his name has basically come up in trade rumors for the past few weeks. And if there were any good trade candidates, me personally, it would be the Baltimore Ravens. But in terms of just keeping Chase around, I mean, I think Washington would be remiss if they didn't keep Chase around. The dude is still one heck of an athlete, right? He's one heck of an athlete, right? So I don't doubt that, he will still be on the team. But if he were to get traded somewhere, my ideal candidate would be the Baltimore Ravens. I mean, you saw what the Ravens defense did to the Lions yesterday, 35-6. My goodness, it was something. It was something. So if I had any trade candidates, it would definitely be Ravens at the top tier, right? And then going to the Washington offense, right? Sam Howell didn't look too good. He didn't look too good. So he only had about 200 plus yards, no touchdowns, but a costly interception. That interception belonging to Deontay Banks, who got his first interception of the season. And for the most part, Deontay Banks has done pretty freaking solid for us. I mean, yeah, there were times when, Terry McLaurin got the best of him and, he couldn't completely lock Terry down. Props to Terry McLaurin because he's still one of the most underrated receivers in the league. I mean, and the fact that he's in my division really says a lot. So I still respect Terry McLaurin as a true number one receiver, right? But despite that, Terry McLaurin was held to under 100 yards, and he didn't even really get his targets in until like the second half, which is crazy because if your best playmaker is Terry McLaurin, then you should start feeding him the ball more often. Which is why I don't understand why the Commanders just didn't, get more targets for Terry McLaurin. You know, it's sad, but it is what it is. The Commanders' only touchdown came off of a Brian Robinson run. Close towards the red zone or close towards the end zone. That was it. That was the only points that the Commanders scored. Of course, they would have tried to score more points to tie up the game, but that 4th and 5 when Jahan Dotson dropped that ball, that was pretty much their only chance of trying to get more points. But the defense held up on that drive and we just did what we had to do. We executed, we bent, but we didn't break, right? Which is kind of the philosophy, of all, of all of our games, right? For the past few seasons, we kind of bent, but we didn't break. So it is what it is. So I can't really I can't really be mad at the defense because the defense did a pretty solid job. I mean, an offense who we practically held an offense that was scoring at least 20 points per game, at the very least, to only 7 points, which says a lot about this defense because this New York Giants defense has significantly improved. Bobby Okereke still is out there wreaking havoc. I want to talk to you guys about another player that I've come to love. Hi, Bella. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's always good to see you on here. Um, Another player that I want to talk to you guys about that has been all over the place lately, not in the bad way, but in the good way. His name is called Michael McFadden. Now, according to his PFF score, he had a PFF score of, I believe it was 89.8, which is first among all linebackers during week 7. Quite honestly, I'm very proud of the kid. I'm very proud of him because now he's starting to show what the Giants so desperately needed, right? Last year our linebackers were not exactly a good defensive unit. And now that, we have guys like Bobby Okereke and now we have Michael McFadden, and Bobby Okereke is really acting like a mentor to Michael McFadden, right? Now we're starting to see Michael McFadden blossom into the linebacker we all know he could be, right? And it's a glorious sight to see, especially on our improving defense, right? Especially on our improving defense. So, hey, I'm just very happy for Michael McFadden, and I'm glad that he's getting the recognition that he rightfully deserves. So, shout out to Michael McFadden. I'm proud of you, kid. Uh, and then let's talk about Washington's O line for a second, shall we? This offensive line unit of Washington, they gave up not one, not two, not three, not four, not five, but 6 sacks. They sacked Sam Howell 6 times. And the majority of those sacks came in the first half. I believe they sacked him 5 times, 4 or 5 times. And how can any quarterback thrive if they're constantly getting sacked like that? It can't happen. It can't happen. The fact that, I heard from Commanders fans that they didn't really prepare for like this whole entire team didn't even prepare for, Wink Martindale's exotic blitzes really says something. It really does say something. I thought, they would put up a much bigger fight than this, but my goodness, when you give up 6 sacks, how do you expect your quarterback to be confident, right? I feel like Sam Howell's confidence, especially after this game. I mean, Sam Howell's a pretty resilient kid. I mean, surely he can bounce back from this, right? Because this week they're going to face the Eagles. I believe it's at their home stadium, so it's going to be a tall task for Sam Howell, right? But if he's constantly getting sacked like 6 times, I don't know. I don't know what he can do. I don't know. I like the kid, but he just can't like the line has got to do a better job protecting him. Now I know that his O line has been very questionable for Jesus for a while now. So I can't even begin to tell you that the O line is the main concern. It's not just the quarterback, right? It's the O line as well. So hopefully they'll find a way to clean that up. But my goodness, the Giants defense with those 6 sacks, my goodness, it feels like something has come over us as of late. If you take a look at the last game before Washington, where we dealt with the high powered Bills offense, right? We held them to 14 points, right? We held them to 14 points, but unfortunately we lost that game. So I really felt like the defense has taken the momentum of that Bills game and brought it to Washington. Now, I will say that divisional games, especially between the Giants and the Commanders, they've not been necessarily blowouts, right? It's mainly come down to last minute, down to the wire impact plays. That's what it boils down to, right? That's what it boils down to. And what that New York Giants defense has shown you that yes, the offense can put up points, but defense wins you championships. And I believe that that New York defense was a sentiment to that belief. It was a very sentiment to that belief. So, like I said, I mean, I can go on and on about the defense, right? Dexter Lawrence still being one of the best interior tackles in the league. Leonard Williams out there causing havoc as well. Um, I mean, the secondary was kind of good. Deontay Banks with his first interceptions, like I said, right? Like I said, I'm very happy that Deontay Banks is starting to turn into the number one corner that we so desperately need. It just sucks that now this secondary is relatively young, and now Odori Jackson may be out for quite a while. I'm not sure what his injury was. I gotta take a look at the reports for Odori Jackson, but I don't know. I mean, it's just something's going on with Adoree. I mean, I just feel like he's just not been it for us this season. I mean, yeah, we tried moving him to the slot, but it's just like, what effect does that do, right? And so now with this injury bug to Adoree Jackson, that leaves our secondary room relatively young, right? And we're going up against a Jets offense that features Brees Hall and Garrett Wilson, right? Those are two very good, very good offensive players, right? I have a feeling that, I have a feeling that this secondary will be tested. The secondaries will be tested. Matter of fact, this whole entire defense will be tested. But, I mean, it's not like we're going up against Zach Wilson. Well, excuse me. It's not like we're going up against Aaron Rodgers. We're just going up against Zach Wilson, who mm, is kind of iffy for me. And, I know that the Jets offensive line hasn't been spectacular as of late. And I really do believe that Wink Martindale will use some of the same exotic blitzes that he used on Washington in going into the Jets game. But I feel like he'll find a way to mix them up a little bit because we all know how usually come in, with the same game plan every single time. He switches it up. So we're gonna see what happens. So, but hey, shout out to the defense once again. They are animals, they are machines, and I am very excited for them. I can't wait to see what we do against Zach Wilson in this Jets offense. So that's that for the defense, right? I want to get into the offense real quick. Tyrod Taylor, right? 271 passing yards and two touchdowns, no interceptions, no fumbles, no nothing really. It's just Tyrod being Tyrod, right? I was under the impression of what these Commanders fans have told me all week. Oh well, Tyrod Taylor was washed, this, that, and the third. Tyrod didn't have it in him anymore. Well, he just showed you that at 34 years old, he still has it. He still got it, right? And this is what happens when, you under prepare for your opponent, right? This is exactly what happens. And Tyrod Taylor showed up and he showed out yesterday at 34 years old. Yeah, I know. It's tough, trust me. I find it hard to believe myself too, but no, Tyrod Taylor was out there looking like he was in his prime in his Buffalo days. The same way in which he looked last game before this. Yeah, are we starting to notice a trend here? Like, is Tyrod really that good? I think he is. I understand that he's a backup out. Okay. Let's not jump ship, okay? Let's not jump ship just yet, okay? I'll get to whether we should start Tyrod or Daniel Jones when he's healthy in a minute, okay? In a minute, right? But Saquon Barkley, I mean, he basically did Saquon things. He basically did Saquon things, and then I'm very excited to see him, just have some fire in him. This game, he really was going off in this game. My goodness, I could. he was he was by far. Oh my goodness, I would say that he was the best player, offensive player, but who knows? I feel like who knows, right? And then Wandale Robinson, of course, oh my god, I freaking love Wandale Robinson. Can we all agree that us picking up Wandale Robinson in the second round of that 2021 draft, I think it was, no, was it 2021 or 2022? I think we picked him up. No, we picked him up last year. Yeah, we did pick him up last year in the second round out of Kentucky. This dude is absolutely incredible. My goodness, I freaking love Wandale Robinson. The routes that he runs, they're crisp. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna lie, it was crisp. I mean, yeah, he only had what one catch, but he made that one catch worth it. Oh my goodness, the way he was just bouncing off the defenders, the way he was just, oh my goodness, everything was just perfect. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. What's this? I see Darren Waller, 7 catches, 98 yards, and a touchdown. That's crazy, right? I was told that Darren Waller was washed, right? I was told that he was gonna get hurt in this game, this, that, and the third. Well, he was targeted 8 times, and he caught 7 catches. That's good fantasy production if you have Darren Waller. Well, if you're still holding on to Waller at this point, right? And then Jalen Hyatt, right? Oh my goodness, I mean, of course, he only had 2 catches for 75 yards. I mean, but well, he was targeted 5 times. I would love for him to catch more balls, but I feel like he's gonna get settled in with this offense every now and then. I mean, it's only a matter of time before Jalen Hyatt really truly has that excuse me, has really truly has that breakout game, right? It's only a matter of time, right? It's only a matter of time. So we'll see what happens, right? I think my well, hold on, wait a minute. I gotta talk about the offensive line real quick. We gave up 4 sacks, okay? I mean, sure, sacks are gonna happen, sacks are sacks, whatever the case may be, right? Whatever the case may be, right? But the fact that we still went out there and we made plays despite those sacks happening it was just phenomenal, right? It was very phenomenal. So I'm glad that this Giants O line is really starting to clean up their act, right? They're starting to clean their act up together, right? And the fact that who was our highest graded offensive lineman? I think it was Brett Bredesen. I think he had a PFF score of 82 or 83 point something. That's what he had. I'm very shocked. Like, oh my goodness. Now, can you just imagine if we get John Michael Schmitz back for this Jets game, and hopefully we get Andrew Thomas back for this game because we just need those guys at 100%. Can you just imagine that? So it's really shocking to see that this offensive line has improved, but you know, it's not over yet, right? We still have so much to clean up, so much to clean up. And yes, I mean, I know that Tyrod was 18 and 29. I mean, he did kind of miss a couple of throws, and then Barkley had that fumble, but that was only his second career fumble, which is crazy for Barkley. And I mean, that goes to show you how sturdy Barkley is with the ball, or how reliable Barkley is with the football. I mean, fumbles happen. Fumbles happen. I was kind of upset, so I'm not too angry at that. That was only his second career fumble. Sterling, Sterling Shepard. Oh my goodness, Sterling Shepard. That fumble on that, I think it was that kick return or that punt return. Dude, like you have got to hold on to the ball. Jesus Christ. I mean, you have been in the league for far too long to be giving up balls like that. I mean, thank goodness you only lost one fumble or one ball, whatever you want to call it. But Jesus, dude, I mean, that fumble should have never happened. The Saquon fumble shouldn't have happened. And then Eric Gray also muffed the punt too, but luckily I think we were able to recover that punt. So that's that's another thing we got to clean up. We got to clean up our special teams. That's what we have to clean up too. And but hey, why do you think the Giants went ahead and picked out? I believe we picked up this kick returner, punt returner. I think his name is Gunnar Olszewski. He was with the Steelers, and then before that, he was with the Patriots. And I believe that this guy received all pro mentions when he was with the Patriots. I mean, he hasn't really been, kind of great for the Steelers, but at this point, we just need to take whatever we can get, But I'm not. I feel like this is a perfect opportunity to clean up our special teams because let's face it, our special teams this year has not been great. It hasn't been great at all. I mean, we still have yet to, return a kick for a touchdown, and we haven't done that since 2015 when Dwayne Harris was still on the team. Who remembers Dwayne Harris? Do you remember Dwayne Harris? I remember Dwayne Harris. I remember him very well. I believe he had that huge kick return against Dallas opening night. I remember that. So yeah, I really do believe that we can clean up our special teams, and hopefully Gunner can really change our special teams. Right? I hope he can. I hope he can. All right, folks. Now here comes this QB controversy that everybody loves to talk about. Right? This whole entire spiel, right, between whether we should start our $160 million quarterback Daniel Jones, or do we continue on with Tyrod Taylor? Here's what I think, right? Here's what I think, right? I know that Daniel Jones has struggled so much throughout this year, right? I mean, his numbers haven't really been that great, only 2 touchdowns and 6 interceptions, right? And he was sacked a boatload of times, 11 times during that Seattle Seahawks game, which I will not discuss. Okay, I don't want to hear anything that happened in that game. Nothing. That game didn't exist. Okay, that game didn't exist. So let's move. So let's move forward from that. Okay, that game didn't exist. Right. But the fact that Daniel Jones was sacked, a quarterback being sacked 11 times should never happen, ever. It was disgusting, right? And then Daniel Jones, and then Daniel Jones goes out with a neck injury. Jesus Christ! I mean, I believe this was the same neck injury that kept him out throughout throughout most of the. I believe it was the 2021 season. So Jesus Christ! I mean, hopefully, I hope he's doing better. I hope he's doing better, right? But let's take a look at Tyrod for these past 2 games, right? Tyrod Taylor for these past 2 games. I mean, he's thrown for 200 yards in the Buffalo loss, and he's thrown for 271 in the Commanders win, right? And the thing about Tyrod Taylor is just that I'm seeing that he is just out there balling. Like he's making throws that Daniel Jones, didn't necessarily make. I mean, sure, Daniel Jones did make 1 or 2 throws that were deep passes, but the thing with Tyrod is just that, I don't know, like it's just something about Tyrod that's just making me consider wanting to start him throughout the rest of the season. I know I sound crazy saying this. I know I sound crazy, but I just want to win games, right? Now, granted, Tyrod Taylor has only played in 2 games, and Daniel Jones has played in five games, 5 games so far, right? Now, who do we roll the dice with? Who do we roll the dice with, Tyrod, or do we roll the dice with Daniel Jones? Now, Daniel Jones, well, Daniel, I wouldn't say unfortunately, Jesus Christ. Daniel Jones, until further notice, is our starting quarterback, right? He's our starting quarterback. So it pains me, right? Because I actually want to see this team succeed. I do. I want to see this team succeed, right? But who gives us a better chance of succeeding and winning games, especially with this Jets defense coming up next week, right? Who gives us a better chance? Is it Daniel Jones or is it Tyrod Taylor? I mean, Jesus Christ. I mean, these are the types of things that we have to come to consider, right? We have to come to terms with this, right? So, were it me, I would probably start Tyrod for one more game because, like I said, I don't know what the status on Daniel Jones is. I'm not sure if this neck injury is more severe than what it already is. I don't know. I have no idea. I mean, if Daniel Jones is not really truly 100% ready, and we all know that he's not ready, then I wouldn't mind Tyrod starting against the Jets. I wouldn't mind it, not at all. I think that Tyrod Rod. Oh gosh, I know y'all gonna be mad at me for saying this, but I really genuinely do believe that Tyrod Taylor gives us a chance to win this game more so than Daniel Jones. Don't get me wrong. There's nothing that I'm not bashing Daniel Jones or anything, right? I'm not bashing the kid, right? We all know that Daniel Jones is sneaky athletic. We all know that, right? We But the thing is with this season that this season has not really turned out the way that it has. I can't really blame it on the quarterback. Well, quarterback is one of the main issues with this team. The offensive line has been an issue for weeks, and then all of a sudden, these past 2 weeks, the O line gets there. They clean it up. They clean it up, right? But to go back to my point between Daniel Jones and Tyrod Taylor, right? As phenomenal as Tyrod Taylor has played for the last 2 games, Tyrod is Tyrod is a backup, and that's the dilemma that we have to come to. That he's just simply and plainly a running, no, a backup quarterback, right? How can we? This is tough. I will genuinely say that this is tough. Of course, I'm gonna support my team. Of course, I'm gonna see whoever is capable of going out there and performing under pressure. Right. I'm leaning more so towards Tyrod Taylor than I am with Daniel Jones. But if we do decide to roll out with Daniel Jones, right, I expect them to have a wake up call, especially during this Jets game coming up because the Jets defense, they're no slouches. They will find ways to get to the quarterback and they will find ways to pressure you. They'll find ways to make you make mistakes, right? Jalen Hurts against the Jets, he had 3 interceptions, 2 of which were not his fault, but the final one was his fault. Okay. All I'm saying is that Daniel Jones needs to have a wake up session right now. He really needs to have a wake up session right now because it's starting to look like that his contract may have been a fluke. I'm sorry, it may have been a fluke, but we'll just see. We'll see what happens. I just want to win against the Jets. I really do want us to win against the Jets, right? How do we contain Garrett Wilson? How do we contain Brees Hall? How do we do that? How do we do that? Right? Well, we did limit Brian Robinson. in this game, and he's a good running back. I mean, the Commanders as a whole, they rushed for 76 yards and just one touchdown. If our run defense can really step up against guys like Brees, against the guy like Brees Hall, and if Deontay Banks can really clamp up the likes of Garrett Wilson, then that's how I see the Giants winning this game. But we can't. It can't be just on defense, right? We have to be able to put points on the board and take points whenever we can. We can't afford to trail in this game. We can't afford to fall behind in this game because even with Zach Wilson at the helm, because if we do, then we're in trouble, right? We're in trouble. This is going to be the Battle of MetLife Stadium next week. It's a 1 o'clock game, so hopefully we can go well, basically, into our home stadium and just come out with a W. That's it. I don't know who's going to start in this game, so we're just going to have to wait the whole week and see what updates are going to be available for Daniel Jones, right? Like I said, if he's not truly 100%, then roll out Tyrod Taylor again because I don't know how severe his neck injury is. I really don't know. But if it turns out to be not as serious as we originally thought, then fine. But understand this: that if Daniel Jones continues to struggle in this game and in the next few games going forward, he can't start. He can't start anymore. He can't. I'm sorry. I Me personally, I would just roll out Tyrod Taylor for like the next couple of weeks before our bye week. That's just how I see it. But unfortunately, I'm not part of the Giants, front office. I can't be the guy that makes the decisions on the table, right? I'm just a fan, just voicing my opinion on the matter, right? I'm just a fan. So hopefully, like I said, we just come out with a W and we keep that same intensity that we had against the Commanders going forward to the Jets. That's it. That's all I want to see. I just want to see consistency. I just want to see effort. I just want to see effort on all three facets of the ball. Offense, defense, and special teams. Hopefully our special teams can get cleaned up this week, but we'll see what happens. Right? We shall see what happens. But with that being said, this has been yet another episode of the Big Blue Rain of Fire. This is episode 3 of the New York Football Giants. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. And it has been a crazy 7 games for us this far, but I don't think the season is over yet. We still have a lot more football to be played. So we're just going to go out there and we're just going to be competitive. We can bend, but we can't break. That's it. That's simple. That's just the simple philosophy of the New York Giants, right? The simple philosophy. So let's just keep our fingers crossed and hope for the best. And I just know that we're just going to come out of here with a W. And that's that, right? And that's that. With that being said, thank you guys so much for tuning into my show. Please be sure to follow all of the amazing people at the sports affiliation. I know my good friend Iggy, he is doing a game show later on tonight. So please tune in to Iggy's game show. And then tomorrow, I'll also be doing a show with our good friend Rico, who does this amazing basketball show called TSA Presents Off the Backboard. So, and it's gonna be live at 8 o'clock tomorrow. So please don't forget to tune in. Share it with your friends, share it with your family, share it with whoever you want. Please, I promise you, we're good people, and we make great content for you guys. And trust me, believe me, I've been with the sports affiliation for months now, and they are just truly amazing people. I promise you, you're gonna have a good time with us, and I promise that. But with that being said, this has been your host Deontay with the sports affiliation. And I am signing out until next time. Let's just go get this W against the Jets.